Good afternoon. You know, New Englanders, you have a hard time with the weather. You get 4 seasons, the weather changes, it's snowy, it's humid, it's rainy. But let me tell you something. The weather today and the last few days have just been glorious. And it's a pleasure to enjoy the nature we get. So we spoke about this earlier, about this week's Torah portion, about Moses hitting the rock. Moses and Aaron get punished. God tells them you need to speak to the rock. Why did you hit it? I told you to speak to the rock, and because of that, the 2 greatest leaders are punished and they're banned from going into the Holy Land. They die right then. In fact, Moses passes away in this week's Torah portion. And the question is, God is able to do anything He wants. God is infinite. If God really wanted the well to give water, can you explain me why did He have to tell Moses to speak to the rock? If He wants the rock, to give water, just tell the rock to give water. Don't even tell it. Let it just give water. Why does Moses have to speak to the rock? And what did God mean with this? What was the message that God was giving Moses by telling him, listen, I want this rock to give water, and I want you to speak to the rock, and then I'll give water. And then the punishment for not speaking to it. And I think that one of the things we can think about and maybe explain is like this. Many times in life, it's a metaphor. You have a student, you have a child, you have a friend, you have a colleague, and you feel that they're like a rock. You know the expression, you're speaking to a stone? When you speak to a stone, you don't get an answer. It's hard. And there's no way to get through it. And sometimes you say, God, what do you want from me? There's no hope. I'm teaching a child. If it's to read, if it's math, or you're in college, or you have a student, and you're teaching them, you feel like you're speaking to a rock. There's no headway. What God was telling Moses, that as the leader of the Jewish people, and really a message to each and every one of us that are in the ability and the position to be in the giving and the nurturing and teaching, that sometimes you think you're speaking to a rock. Sometimes you think you're speaking to a stone, but beneath that rock, there's the potential for water. And if you only spoke, if you only were patient, if you only gave them the time of day that they needed, then they would bring forth a wellsprings of water. How many times do you look at a person and you say, look at their character, they're not good, they have no soul, they have no water in them, they have no potential, and you want to give up. But God tells Moses to be the leader of the Jewish people. I want you to get water from this stone, but I want you to speak to the stone. You know, growing up, I had the merit of living in Brooklyn, New York, as I've told you many times, and literally growing up at the feet of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe was very interesting, that on Saturdays and during the week on special days, he would have a farbrengen, what we'd call a gathering. And the Rebbe would speak for hours, and between each deep idea, if it was esoteric, if it was Bible, if it was Talmud, if it was Maimonides, things that were current events, the Rebbe would speak, and between each song, between each talk, they would sing a song or two, a Chassidic melody. And there would be thousands of Chassidim. And the Rebbe was an elderly man, and his voice wasn't so loud, and on Shabbos you don't use a mic. And the Rebbe had thousands of Chassidim trying to listen to the Rebbe speak without a mic. But right around the Rebbe wanted the kids to sit right next to him. And I had the merit of literally for years sitting right near the Rebbe at these gatherings, before my bar mitzvah and then after, but from a little child of 5 years old. And we would talk, we'd make noise, we didn't understand enough. And people would get frustrated with us. We were disturbing them from understanding these deep ideas. But the Rebbe always looked at us with such love and always smiled to us. As I told you before, I remember one time we used to say l'chaim with a little cup of wine, and the Rebbe would nod and give us a blessing. And I had finished my wine, and the Rebbe turned to me and told me to say l'chaim. I was holding an empty cup. And the Rebbe realized the cup was empty. And the Rebbe took his own Kiddush cup, and he poured wine into my cup. And I always wondered, why did the Rebbe want the children next to them? We didn't understand anything. We didn't understand what the Rebbe was speaking. We didn't understand the ideas. We just made noise. We disturbed others. And then I realized through the years that that's what it means to be a leader. That's what it means to be a Moshe Rabbeinu. Not just to see the surface, but to see the soul, to see the water that has the potential of coming out of that rock. The Rebbe saw every Jew, every human being as a soul, as a rock that had potential for water. And that's what God was telling Moshe, speak to the stone. Yes, I could just make it give forth water, but I want to teach you a message here about the potential of each human being. How much more so when you talk about a rock, how much more so the potential of each human being. God bless you. Remember, never give up on your child, on your student, on anyone. If you speak to them, you will get results and the water will come forward. Have a great day.